Hello, good evening, welcome. Good evening, my name is Kwabena. Welcome. Another day, the last day of September 2018. 18, yes. I want to share one of the things that I like to talk about is being able to inspire somebody who has just completed university, college, those things. So the topic I'm trying to share my view on is I've just completed national service and I've started a business. What to do to keep going? I've just completed national service, and sometimes you may have tried several times and nothing was working, and so now you decided to turn some of the things that you were fidgeting with, some of the things that you were just playing with, some of the hobbies, some of the ideas. Maybe you like serving food to people, and you go to church, you go to funerals, weddings, naming ceremonies, and anytime that you share the food, the recipe with people, they say, this is very nice. And then the thought came that maybe start to do something about it. And so maybe you started to, ask people, can I come and handle your food for you? And later you see that 2 months, 3 months, 4 months down the line, the thing is becoming a business. Or maybe you like printing, so maybe you started printing, designing things for people for free. Maybe you started like that, and now you have come to see that this thing can also become a business. A lot of things that business, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that we try, and later we see that this thing can easily become a business. I don't think there is much that most people do in terms of the first idea that became a first business. Sometimes you didn't even know what you're doing. You just tried to do something. You were busy. You were working. You were focused. You were occupied. You were obsessed with something that you were doing. Then along the line, you begin to see a pattern. You begin to see people starting, to show interest in it. And now that the thing is becoming a business, what can you do? So some few thoughts that I think can help you to start to focus. Now, there is this general thinking that, oh, not everybody can start a business. Not everybody, not everybody can be in business. There's those kind of loose thinking. I think it's loose because, yes, it's obvious. Not everybody can become a Roman pastor or a Roman reverend, father. Not everybody can become a nurse. Not everybody will become a president. Not everybody become anything. So, not everybody will become a business or can start a business. That's no news. It's okay. But man has got to do something. And who told us that everybody can be employed? Who is telling us that lie? So one of the things that you have to handle is the people, the people they call the negatives, the pessimistic people, the people who are not sure of themselves and who go around contaminating people who try to do something. That is one of the groups that you have to handle, because when you start to do things like that, it starts to make sense. You start to get some revenue from it. A lot of people will just come around and diffuse the energy. They try to deflate your confidence with all the negativism, the perceived intelligence, the perceived wisdom in what they are saying. Just as if you had a job in some multinationals, you will be confident. This idea that is becoming a business, you have to express that confidence in it. Sorry, that confidence, you have to express it. It's as legitimate as any job, if not, even if you are not thinking of a business. This thing that people have started to call you, you know, now people are calling you, can you come and do this event for us? Can you bring some of your product for us? Can you do this? That thing that people, because every business idea that you throw out there, every business idea that you start to get committed to, there is always an opportunity. So there is always an opening for any of them. If you are ready, there is always at least for the model to work. So whatever that comes to mind, whatever that you have started that people are trying to patronize, express that confidence as you would have expressed if you were employed in some organization that your parents would be you'll be proud, your friends will be proud, your everybody will be glad. This thing that you have started, that you have no address, no card, nothing, you are trying to push yourself. Don't see it as something that you're just trying. And when you have the so-called opportunity somewhere, you go and leave this. Don't even think that it's a hobby that you're doing. It's not a hobby. Don't you place it at the second place. That idea, if you start to lift yourself, if you start to focus on it, if you start to pay attention, it can become a business. And if it becomes a business, you have created one. So what you have to look at is that you have to start to think of doing more, focusing on it, push more hours in it. Nothing becomes great until attention is given to it, until there is some kind of investment. You have to work more. So that product that you're selling, that restaurant that you think, that food vendor, that food business that you have started, any business, maybe that graphic, that website that you have created that you're selling product, or even on Facebook, anything that you have started, you are calling it a business, and you see that there are prospects every now and then, you're getting some orders. Those things, focus on it, pay attention to it, think of doing it, and think of doing it more. Don't just see it as, I don't have anything to do, that's why I'm doing this. That's what kills. I think that one of the things that will kill your drive, if you don't give full attention to it. If you start to see it as, it's because I don't have any job. I've talked to a lot of people. I'm trying to look for that dream job. There's no dream job anywhere. If you don't know, the dream job is the one that you have at your hand, and the one that you're giving attention to. So think of doing more with that idea. Now maybe you are getting one order or two or three in a day. Think of doing three. Think of doing 10, 20, 40. Maybe you are getting 50 a month. Think of doing 70, 80. What are you going to do to put yourself out there, to focus on it? That business, whatever business that you have in mind that you're doing, give it as proper. Address it as a proper business, as you would have if you had that job that somebody else would respect. So take care of your finances as well, the expenses and the income. So for the moment you say that somebody ordered, somebody, maybe now the idea is working, because you're talking about, I just completed national service, have started a business, what to do to keep going. Because if you don't stop and you keep going, it will never work. So the national service, you just completed national service somewhere. And the thing about national service is that when you are completing it, nobody wants you to work there. So you have come home, you have written a lot of CVs, but somewhere, somehow, just the fidgeting, you're just fidgeting and something will just pop up. And you see that this idea can be a business. The moment you start to put 1 CD in it, 2 CDs in it, 4 CDs in it, 20 CDs, 100, 30, whatever money that you're putting in, start to take records of them. Start to write them down. Maybe buy an exercise book. Maybe if you have a computer, start to keep the records, because that idea that you have started, that's how every one of them, that's how it became a business. And so now people are patronizing. Don't just say that, this is something that I'm just doing it as a hobby. No, it's not a hobby. If people start to ask you, start to keep records. If it's 1 CD, if it's 10 CD, if it's 20 CD that you're spending on your mobile phone, on WhatsApp, data that you're spending, the trotro that you're taking, everything that you're spending, the ones that you're using for the product, for the service, write everything down, because it's a business that you have started like that. Don't just go like 4 months, 5 months, and you're not keeping records. That will become a bad habit for you. And that's why sometimes, because the better you are prepared in terms of trying to keep data, keep the records on the finances and things like that, you start to become serious. So think of that, and think of how you keep records on the ones that people are paying you. People are paying you, write them all. Because if you don't take care, you can easily lose track of them. Because they pay you, the next minute you're using it to do another thing. They pay you, the next minute you're using it to do another thing. It doesn't matter. You may be using it because you are recycling the little that you have, but at least write them. Have a fair idea as to how much you're making every week, how much you're making every day, how much you're making every month. Because the money is coming and the money is going. but at least keep a track. Keep track. You don't know. Maybe you're making 100 Ghana a month. Maybe you're making 200 Ghana a month. Maybe you're making 2,000 a month. You don't know. But write them. Keep records. Sometimes you may be overspending and you may not even be aware. But if you start to keep them, because the fact that you have completed national service means that at least you can read, you can write. And for me, that's the essence of going to that school anyway, so that you can keep write about the dreams that you're doing. Not so much you becoming whatever. But this is a business that has started to work. It's a business, oh. You may never believe it, but it's a business. If you pay full attention to it, if you get committed to it, you may shock yourself. You may not know where this idea will go. And the other thing is that you have to start right away to develop yourself. People say it's not easy, it's tough. It is true. Business can be tough. But one of the things that can help you to handle the difficulties and the challenges that will come in trying to build this business, that you didn't say that you wanted to start a business. It just happened. You were just a good person helping people, and then people started to order. And then the next minute you see, it's a business. That thing that has started to, and you're getting revenue. Start to study it. Build yourself. Get proper knowledge as to how this is done well. If you don't, then the difficulties overwhelm you. Then the difficulties overcome you. Develop yourself. The only reason you're going to give up on this business is because you stop to develop yourself. Read, study. Read about business, read about entrepreneurship, read about management, team, read about something that you're doing. Because the more quality of data that you have on whatever you're doing, the better for you to know and to even perceive the kind of processes, stages that you are going to go through as a business person, as an entrepreneur. Because this thing has started to work. Maybe you are carrying cocoyam from the village. You are distributing them to all the chobbers in Accra. It's a business. It is a business. It will become proper when you structure it well. And you cannot structure anything. You cannot develop the business beyond your capacity, beyond your development, beyond your maturity. The business is just something that is coming out of you, at least from the initial stage. So the more committed you are to developing yourself, expanding your mind, how to handle your emotions, how to handle the business, how to read about the economy, how to anything that has got to do with what it will take for you to build this business, you must study, because that is the reason you can read, you can write. If nothing at all, if you don't know where to go and buy a book, if you don't know what to do, at least you have access to the internet nowadays, and almost everybody has a smartphone. You can buy data. Go to what they call the Amazon. There are a lot of books there, free ones, or even just Google. Every day read an article. Get a book to read, because the more expanded you are with your knowledge on this thing that you're doing, the better for you. You can handle the stress if you have superior knowledge. You can handle the difficulties, the disagreements, the mistakes, the errors, the pain, if you start to expand your mind. Your decisions are going to come from the kind of exposure that you have given to yourself. You just a national service person, you just started, it's making sense. Now you're going to hear a lot of things from people. So the only way you can stay above the noise, above the contrary views that will come, because at just about the time that you have started, sometimes if you don't take care, just about the time that the business is starting to make some meaning, you start to make some kind of progress, then you hear a family member somewhere who has been able to connect you to another job somewhere. Because the moment it starts to work, that is just about the moment that there will be things that will also come and look like very attractive, and you may want to say that, no, let me go and take that job. That will be your decision. But if you start to develop yourself, read more, stretch your mind, get exposed, go to YouTube. There are a lot of information there. Go there, type every now and then, drag yourself, study, pick a topic. Business has a lot of elements. But the best of them is the one that you're giving to yourself, the one that you are training yourself with, the one that will make you strong, be able to focus on that you're doing, because there will be a lot of things, a lot of doubt, and they come to everybody. But how you're going to keep the track will be your ability to develop yourself constantly, being able to lift your mind above the ordinary noise that you hear everywhere. If you're able to do that, you'll be able to stay focused and you'll be able to do this business. Because the difference between the one who is able to keep going and the other one who gives up is because of the kind of training that they're giving themselves every day, the kind of information that they're getting every day. And so this business that is making sense to you, you just started, I just completed national service, I've started a business, what do I do, what to do to keep going, develop yourself, stretch your mind. If before you were listening to a lot of things about things that were not business, now this thing is working. People are paying you. Maybe every day you're making 100 Ghana cedis, 20 Ghana cedis, 50 Ghana cedis. It's making sense to you. Start to develop your mind on this. Because if you don't, a time will come that you'll be tested, you'll be challenged. And then before you see it, you're running back. The other thing is develop a workable plan for your business. Develop a workable plan. Have something in your diary, exercise book. Write something for the next 6 months. Write something for the next 1 year. This business. Maybe you started sewing clothes for people. They are calling you everywhere. Start to have a plan. The next 2 months, this is what I'm going to do. The next 3 months, this is what I'm going to do. Have a plan. It doesn't have to be so technical, but the ones that you can relate to, have it. Write it down. It's a business. Sometimes you may be making more than what people have been doing all these years. So have a plan. You don't have to show that plan to anybody. It doesn't have to be so much detail. After all, it's a startup. After all, it's a first business. Have a plan. Write them down. Give yourself timelines. Write something over the next 12 months. Write something over the next 3 years. Whatever that you can do, because it will guide you. It will give you focus. It will channel you. It will make you focus on this and you start to think. Because if you don't have a plan, you give up along the line. Because there'll be losses, there'll be problems, there'll be challenges. But if you have a plan, it will help you. Start to think of that business. What name are you going to give to it? Start to think of, maybe I have to open a bank account. Maybe I have to register it as an enterprise. Whatever it is, start. Because the thing is, the moment you start something like that, people don't think that they are this is something that can easily give you a job for the rest of your life. This is something that can easily give people a job for the rest of their life. This is something that can easily become a big company. All the companies that you see around, they were started by people like you. They were started by people like me. The only difference is that they were committed to it and they paid the price and they stay with it and they continue to develop themselves and they gave pride. They didn't just give up. So you don't have to explain yourself to everybody. This is the business that you say you have started. It's making sense. Be resolved at least to focus on this for some time. At least give yourself some time. Don't just say that I put 2 hours, 2 months into it. It's not working. No. And the other thing is that you have to think of publishing it. Now you live in an era that you can easily put something that, maybe even on your WhatsApp DP, just create something, put it there, send it to people. Maybe on Facebook, maybe on Instagram, anything that, and then virtually a lot of these things are free. Maybe you say that you want to cook for people who are married. Just put it there, send it to your friends. Keep asking them. If they say no, it doesn't change anything. Go to somebody and tell them that, Uncle, do you know somebody? This is what I'm doing. Do you know somebody who can connect me to give me maybe a place to cook for them? Do you know? Because you never know what people can tell you until you ask. So it's business. Just be almost crazy. Just focus on it to say that I want to make this thing to work and be proud of it. And be proud of it, because that's one of the things. When you go out and you meet your school friends and they're asking you, what are you doing? Don't go out and say that, child, we don't know what you're doing, but no, start to use words. Don't go out and talk to people and by the time you come home, you're deflated. By the time you come home, you have lost all your confidence. That is not good. Package the business as relevant business as you're doing. Something that you have thought. Not many people can think and do. Now you have thought and it is working. Never go anywhere and appear apologetic. Be confident in that dream, because the confidence that you have in yourself is what is going to sell. The confidence you have in that dream is what is going to keep you going. There'll be challenges, there'll be troubles, but if you keep that confidence, you don't have to talk to people and feel like diminished. This idea at this stage, you need a lot of strength. 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 You need so keep that confidence. And you don't. The other thing is that you don't have to think as somebody who is waiting for monthly pay. If I have a job, my thinking is not the same as if I'm creating a job. There's a word of difference. I just get up, go to work, they pay me. If this business is working, if I don't move, nobody is coming. So there's a word you have to think automatically or gradually must shift the way you think, the ways you use, the way you look at life. Now everything rests on you now. At least at this stage, everything rests on you. If it doesn't work, it's your problem. If it works, it is your problem. Don't look at the other people who are very much comfortable with the salary. That's their decision. This is your decision. Say that this business is started making sense. It's working. Now I have to think differently. Process. You have to ask different questions. If the other people are asking different questions, you cannot be you cannot be thinking as somebody with a job. That's the major difference. Because if you don't move, nothing moves. And if there are losses, they are yours. It's not for anybody. And you cannot blame anybody for the losses. You cannot blame anybody for the pain. You cannot blame anybody for if anything is not working, it's you. You can't blame anybody, even if somebody screw you. So this thing that you have started that is working, it is you. Nobody is responsible. You are the last one. You can't run to your father, you can't run to your mother, you can't go and explain anything. They may offer help, but it is you. So that's the kind of thinking that you have to. If I work for somebody, I can just say anything, can walk off anytime. And if it doesn't work, he's there to clean the mess. If yours does not work, nobody will clean the mess. It's you. So that's a shift of mind. The responsibility is yours to make sure that it works. You cannot blame anybody. And you don't have to get hooked and be thinking of how about if at the end of the month nothing comes in. That's why you have to make sure that at the end of the month something will come in. That is how some people are very much uncomfortable. Unfortunately, maybe you see you are just a national service person. You may not have been addicted to people, the other thing. You may not even have a lot of obligations. You may not have a child, you may not have a wife or husband, you may not have a lot of the people depending on you. So you may just have the freedom to move, at least to try something. And this one is working, so try, keep trying. You never know. You never know. And sometimes even the idea that you start may not be the main idea or the idea that will work for you. But keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. You never know. Keep moving. You never know where this idea will take. The other thing is that you have to build a very supportive network. Build a network that will help you to keep yourself and to keep the dream going. Build a network. Have access or create a network. Now there are a lot of virtual network, and have access to people who are doing this. Because their communication you can understand. Even if you don't understand, you can relate. If you start a business and all your friends don't like business, and you meet them every day, you'll quit. You will lose it. You give up. You tell yourself that it doesn't worth it. Because the pressure is 100 times everybody's. And there's always something somewhere that will not tell you. Every time there's something, especially at the initial stage. So you have to get connected to people who are doing just as you are doing, or you will give up. So those are the things that you have to do to keep going, to keep going, to keep going. And it will fascinate you after you have paid some dues, after you have paid some hours. You see that this thing has started to make a meaning. This thing has started to work. Now, something about family is that if they don't even understand what you're doing and they don't respect it, don't worry about them. Something about people who know you, familiar people, friends. You don't have to explain yourself to everybody. Just keep doing it. Focus. You never know. And it can be any industry. It can be agric, it can be technology thing, it can be transport, it can be retail, it can be wholesale, it can be logistics, it can be you innovating on something, it can be the people industry, anywhere that it is. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, because that's how it is. Majority of your friends may not be able to start something like that. Majority, that's why they even have association of graduate unemployed people. So if you didn't join that association and you happen to have had this thing that is working, you have done well. The only thing is that it is a baby. It's going to get it is going to need a lot of attention. It's going to get a lot of input from you. It will fail because you didn't give it the required attention. If you give it the right attention, if you put in the right things, there's no way it's not going to work. It will work. And you have no excuse giving up until you have tried it for a while. And so if you just try it once and it didn't work, some people try it 10, 20 times. You just try once, 2 months, it didn't work and you give up. No. Give yourself time. See, the thing about it is that it's not so much the time that you give, it's what you are learning, what you're keeping to yourself, what you're acquiring, the skill development, the accuracy of decision making. Those things, those are the processes that you're going to go through. And the moment those processes concentrate, you start to see that the business is working. And you are going to endure a lot. The first endurance will be yourself, being able to keep the doubt in check. The thing about Ghanaians is that we know too much. That's something that you have to know about the culture that you live in here. We know too much, we do so much little. And we convince ourselves that what we know works. The thing is that what we know in our country, a lot of them don't work. We're still very colonized thinking people. And the things that we hold dearly are not the things that are productive. And so our culture is not so much, especially for somebody who has just finished national service. Nobody expects you to start a business. Okay? They expect you to go and look for a job. And they expect you to go and probably, what is that other one? If you don't look for a job, go back to school. You know, those are the things that they're expecting you. They don't expect you to go and go through all those things. They don't. You know, they expect you to go and look for a job. They expect you to travel somewhere. They expect you to go and beg something. They expect you to go back to school. And those are the things that we define. That's how we think. Now, you have to come to a stage where you can put those things in separate positions and know that this is how our people think. I'm going to deal with them anyway. Like for me, you know, the society, a lot of people are driven by fear. A lot of people, I'm sorry, are driven by ignorance. So, and it's coming from a lot of things: the media, the religion, coming from ourselves. You know, so you have to know, and you have to also build solid character. The moment people start to listen to you, the moment people start to get orders from you, build your structure so that you are able to stay with what you say you will do. And if by chance you can't do it, make people aware that there are challenges. The biggest leverage you can have as a startup, as somebody who has just completed national service and who has started a business, is make sure that you are credible. Make sure that you have what it takes to be trusted. You have to resolve to have that. Be honest. It pushes you right on top of the industry. If you're honest to your client, you're honest to yourself, there's a lot that can come to you. And have that sense of respect for the people who would need that service that you have. Get the best of customer service. Get the best of treatment. Be prompt. If by chance you cannot deliver it, let the people be aware. At no point that you just promise somebody and then you switch off your phone. They call you several times, you're not picking. You are not ready. If you do that, you're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. And don't be so much quick to impress anybody. If the business is working, keep the money. Don't rush to go and buy a car and those things. Keep the money. Don't try to impress anybody. Let the business grow. Have that boldness and that self-discipline to keep it as it is. Because after all, you didn't think that this thing could become a business. And now it starts to become business. And people are calling you everywhere. Your plan will work from now or for the next 2-3 years if you have that sense of discipline. And don't be dishonest again. That I said it. That's one of the major factors. Ghanaians have a lot of things. This one we grapple with. This one it's difficult for most people. Just be. If you cannot say it, if you cannot do it, just say, please, I cannot do it. Don't be so much far from saying no. If you cannot make it on time, tell them no. Please, but this is what we can do. But if you can do it, then do it. Don't be that much. Be mature in your thought, be mature in your approach, and be principled. It will help you. Because I think that we create a lot of pressure for ourselves when we are not solid, when we don't treat people with these principles, when we are not honest and straightforward right from the start. So resolve that. Don't think that it's business because, some people say that the pressure was too much, so I put off my phone. No, don't put off your phone. Tell them what you think. And tell them when you can make it happen. It will help you. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about, the things. I just completed national service and have started a business. What do I do to keep going? Be honest to yourself. Be honest to people that you're going to deal with. Don't cheat and lie. They are not important. And don't be in haste to impress anybody. Think of doing more. Think of doing more. Take care of your finances. The ones that are going, the ones that you're spending, and the ones that people are paying with. And be committed to reading. Develop yourself. Read about business, entrepreneurship, finances, management. Stretch yourself. If you don't like reading, go to YouTube. There are a lot of videos there. But read and develop a workable plan. Have some kind of milestone, some kind of timelines that you are going to follow at least a year and see where it will lead you. And think of, at least don't hide. There is social media there, put what you do there. Ask your friends for referrals. Ask your friends, is there anybody you think will need this product? And if they say no, no problem. Go to the next one. Keep pushing. Because most people cannot be saying these things because their pride is very high. That's why they cannot build business. Now, when you start a business, it means you are humble. You have to be that much humble. You don't have to be offended by what people think and what people perceive of you. It don't matter. If it's a dream that you're building, it doesn't matter which words people are using. So far as they don't have to say that you're dishonest. That's the only thing that I don't want, or you're lazy. But if they say that this guy is working too much, this guy is so crazy, it doesn't matter. You focus on what you're doing. It will start to make sense. It will start to make sense. They don't have to see what you're seeing. They just have to see you working. And you have to push yourself. Push yourself. Sell yourself. Sell your ideas. Nobody is occupied with your ideas. People are occupied with their own situation. If you keep it secret, it will be secret. Nobody. But you need people to buy those services or those products that you're putting out there. And don't think as an employee. Because you have started this business, you have to think differently. Now, if you don't move, nothing moves. If you don't move, nothing moves. So you have to be that strong to say that if I don't move, nothing will move. And have a proper support network. Have a proper support network. Friends, family, there be people who are doing the things that you're doing. Business people who are thinking like that. And create that kind of avenue for yourself, that kind of opportunity for yourself, and keep growing and expanding. And never be afraid of failing, and never be afraid to say that this thing is not working. I have to go and do another thing. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. It's a business that you're building. You never even thought of it like that. I never say that it's difficult. It's difficult. I can do it. You can do it. People have done it. People continue to do it. And the thing about it is that you are in the first, maybe 5% of your group. If you completed those schools, the people you finished the national service with, you're just about the 2, 3, 4, 5% of them. A lot of them are going to go back to school. A lot of them are going to look for government work. A lot of them are going to look for bank work, insurance. A lot of them will never think of starting something for themselves. And so be proud of what you have started. Proud of it, and give the best of service to your clients, and be principled, be honest, and don't be in haste to impress anybody. Just do more. Don't be in haste to impress anybody. Just keep your level and keep going, and you never know, after a while you see that it starts to make sense and it becomes a business. Now you are thinking of office, you're thinking of employing people, you're thinking of doing more. Now they are referring you. Now you're thinking of maybe getting a partner, getting an employee, and now it's a business. And be proud of it. Every business is a business. What is the difference is the people behind it, their level of thinking, what they can structure for that business, their exposure. That is the business. It's not so much the business, like what they're doing. It's not so much the construction. It's not so much the retail. It's not so much whatever business they're doing, but the quality of the persons behind the business. That is the business. That really is the business. So the more you're developing yourself, the more the business is developing. And be so much confident that you have what it takes to build it. You have the skill, the expertise to build it. And be so principled. And don't be driven by fear. Don't be driven by fear. Be driven by confidence. And change the environment so that the environment can fuel you. And don't take advantage of people. Be principled, be honest. Be solid in your values. And make the progress as you're going on. And be patient. Because the business will work anyway. The business will work if you don't give up. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you. So, I just completed national service. I have started a business. What to do? Keep pushing. And be proud of whatever you start. If you don't give up, it will work. If you don't give up, it will work. And don't go and start it. I remember we started business right after national service. And because of family and friends, we stopped it. Said, when are you going to go to school? When are you going to go to school? When are you going to go to school? Then we stopped it. We went to school. So focus on what you're doing. Because the same family will give you a lot of pressure for nothing. Okay? A lot of pressure for nothing. But you have to have a clear vision, a clear goal of what that business is becoming. And you never know where. The next time, you'll be mentioning your name everywhere, saying that is a business that a man started. And now it's making a lot of sense. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.